People are cold. They need heat. They need light. They need power to cook so they can eat. And the energy situation in Ukraine is getting worse. Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tweeted that 30% of the country's power stations have been destroyed, and that destruction was done in just the past 8 days. More than 1,000 towns and villages in Ukraine are currently without power. Parts of Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, also without power. And this crisis comes as winter is right around the corner when people are desperately in need of heat to survive. Russia can't destroy and kill alone, so now it has help Iran. Iran is providing the supply of the Kamikaze drones. They are cheaper than missiles at a price of about $20,000 each, and they are very effective. They linger over the targets, looking for the right target. U.S. officials say this purchase deal violates the United Nations resolution. Foreign correspondent Chuck Holton is live in Kyiv. Chuck?
That's right, Greta. Today and last night, there were people that were out protesting in front of the Iranian embassy here in Kyiv because they're angry that although Iran has condemned the invasion of Ukraine, they're actually selling these drones, which are essentially just missiles with wings, to Russia, and Russia is using them now in this sort of new strategy to try to take out the power infrastructure and essentially freeze Ukraine out over the winter. This is obviously aimed at civilian targets, at all the civilians in Ukraine. And as you mentioned, according to President Zelensky, they've knocked out about a third of Ukraine's total power generation capacity in just the last 8 days alone. That's really bad. We've been asked here to cut back on electrical usage between the morning hours of like 7 and 9 and the afternoon hours of 4 and 6. They've also dimmed the lights outside at night, where they had up until now, even throughout the entire invasion, they've had the street lights on here in Kyiv. Now they're dimming the street lights and even turning them off. And they're warning that there may be rolling brownouts. Now, General Ryder had something to say about this. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Why we think they're targeting those areas, I think obviously trying to inflict pain on the civilian society, as well as try to have an impact on Ukrainian forces. But what we've seen so far is Ukraine be very resilient in their ability to get things like their power grids back up online quickly. In the meantime, our focus will continue to be on working with them to identify what their needs are, to include things like air defense, and we'll work to try to get those capabilities to them as quickly as possible.
So Western leaders are also looking at more sanctions, not necessarily against the Iranians, because they're already one of the most heavily sanctioned countries on earth, but against anybody who does business with Iran that might allow Russia to get around those sanctions on specifically the computer chips and those sorts of things that are needed for more weapons, more missiles and drones and things like that. Greta?
Chuck Holton, thank you.